The city skyline at night glimmered like a fractured mirror, a tapestry of flickering lights that danced against the velvet blackness of the sky. Each twinkle told a story, a whisper of life and connection in a world that thrived on the pulse of technology. But on this particular night, the hum of the city felt different, charged with an unsettling energy. Inside the heart of the metropolis, the newsroom buzzed with an intensity that bordered on chaos. Screens flashed with frantic urgency, but the digital pulse that once connected voices to thoughts and thoughts to actions faltered. Smartphones displayed a stark message: no signal. The beeping machines, once a symphony of productivity, began to fade into silence, replaced by the dissonance of confusion. The rotary phone, a relic of a bygone era, was lifted from its dusty perch, its dial spinning with a nostalgic click as it sought connection in a world that had all but abandoned it. The voiceover echoed through the room, a disembodied narrator guiding the listener into the heart of the crisis. On day 2 of the blackout, the world fell silent. Emails ceased their relentless flow, calls failed to connect, and messages remained unsent, like whispers trapped in a void. In a society that prided itself on being the most connected on Earth, the stark contrast was palpable. Office workers, once engaged in a constant rhythm of communication, clicked send in vain, their faces a mosaic of frustration and disbelief. Students, hunched over desks, stared blankly at screens that refused to load, their assignments and correspondence locked away in an intangible prison. Journalists, the watchdogs of society, sat helplessly before black screens where news feeds once flowed like lifeblood, their voices stifled in a silence that screamed of urgency. A compelling overlay of facts punctuated the scene, a stark reminder of the fragility of modern communication. Over 85% of real-time communication depended on internet infrastructure. The numbers danced in the air, a haunting testament to the precariousness of a world built on digital connections. Amidst this chaos, a daughter sat in her dimly lit apartment, heart racing as she attempted to contact her mother. Each call ended in silence, the familiar ringtone replaced by an oppressive void. Panic began to mount as she dialed again and again, each failed attempt a reminder of the distance that now felt insurmountable. The sense of danger loomed large, a reminder that in a world stripped of instant communication, the threads that bound loved ones together could fray with terrifying speed. As the hours dragged on, the impact of the blackout rippled through the fabric of society. Businesses, once thriving in the digital age, were brought to their knees. Government offices stood locked, deprived of systems that had become the backbone of their operations. Teams huddled around printed documents, their voices low as they relied on the archaic methods of communication that had been deemed obsolete. News stations, those bastions of information, faced verification challenges that left them grappling with uncertainty. A stark fact hung in the air. 70% of Western organizations had shifted to cloud-based communication platforms, underscoring the vulnerability of modern infrastructures. Emergency services, the lifeline of the city, were not immune to the chaos. The 911 call center, once a hub of rapid response, was now a cacophony of blinking screens that failed to deliver calls. Police radios crackled with static, their usual clarity lost in the ether. Firefighters, accustomed to the precision of digital dispatch, found themselves fumbling with paper instructions, their training tested in ways they had never anticipated. A dramatized scene unfolded as an ambulance driver, caught in a web of confusion, clutched a crumpled piece of paper with handwritten directions. GPS, once a reliable guide, had become an echo of the past, leaving him to navigate the streets with only his instincts and the fading memories of familiar routes. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily, each moment stretching into eternity as the implications of communication breakdowns in critical situations became painfully clear. In the midst of despair, a flicker of resilience began to emerge. As the days passed, people instinctively sought to adapt, to find ways to connect despite the chaos. Individuals dusted off landlines, their rotary dials spinning with a sense of nostalgia. Walkie-talkies crackled to life, bridging distances that had once felt insurmountable. Handwritten notes became a lifeline, passed between neighbours and friends. The ink capturing thoughts that would have once been typed and sent with a click. Journalists, determined to tell the stories that needed to be told, unearthed fax machines from storage. Their whirring sounds a reminder of simpler times. The world didn't cease to communicate. It simply evolved. The voiceover returned, reflecting on this unexpected shift. Communication didn't stop entirely. It transformed, reverting to earlier methods that had once been the norm. In the silence, humanity found its voice again. As the days turned into a week, a new rhythm emerged, one that embraced the imperfections of human connection. People gathered in parks, sharing stories and laughter, their voices rising in the absence of digital distractions. The city, once a cacophony of notifications and alerts, now thrummed with the sound of genuine interactions. On day 2, without the internet, the world didn't end. It simply stopped speaking in the way it had grown accustomed to. The silence was profound, a reminder of the delicate balance that sustained the modern age. In the stillness, people discovered the power of presence, the beauty of a conversation unmediated by screens. As the skyline shimmered against the night, the flickering lights took on new meaning. Each one was a testament to resilience, a reminder that even in the face of chaos, the human spirit would find a way to connect. The world may have fallen silent, but it was a silence filled with potential, a moment to reflect on the nature of communication itself. In the end, the blackout served as a catalyst for change, a wake-up call to a society that had become overly reliant on the digital realm. It was a reminder that while technology could facilitate connection, it was the human touch, the shared laughter, and the whispered secrets that truly defined communication. And so, as the city breathed in the quiet, it began to speak again, not in the language of ones and zeros, but in the rich tapestry of human experience. The world didn't end. It simply learned to listen anew. On day 2, without the internet, the world didn't end, but it stopped speaking. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for more interesting content. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification to be the first to watch episode 3.